Hello everyone, Ray here. Today is exciting time. We've got a OnePlus 3T, Xiaomi 5s Plus, and an Asus Zenfone 3 Deluxe. Despite they are nowhere come close on the price tag, they all boast a Snapdragon 821 processor, 6GB of RAM, and they are relatively more affordable than the Samsung, Apple, or Pixel phone. So which is the best pick for your money? Let's find out. Before we jump right into today's real test, it is worth a mention that the Zenfone 3 Deluxe here is the 256GB model, which is insane, while the other two, 128GB maximum. Or if the design and the build quality does matter, the Zenfone 3 Deluxe would be the best pick out of the three. Aluminium body has become the majority in 2016, even for budget smartphones. But the antenna design on the Xiaomi does make the phone not as one piece as we may want. The brushed aluminum texture works well with the shiny coating design, but the overall design language is nothing out of ordinary. The Zenfone, however, stands out from the crowd. The invisible antenna design is impressive. The overall design language is nothing extraordinary, but the build quality is amazing. It is also the only one here that has a glass panel directly meeting the metal chassis, instead of having a plastic frame for cushioning. The bezels on the two sides are also one of the slimmest I've seen. The chassis itself also features a gentle curve, from 4.2mm on the edges to an impressive 7.5mm thin at its thickest point. It is not flawless though. The navigation buttons are finally backlit, which is the first time for Asus, but they are still visible even when the phone is in idle, and the unbalanced position looks more or less weird. The OnePlus 3T in the meantime makes no wrong on the design segment. It is low profile, metallic, and sleek. It is the only one to sport a fingerprint sensor on the front, and it is also the only 5.5 inches relatively one-hand friendly offer out of the three. Unfortunately, the overall boxy design and the sharp edges on the sides make it one of the most slippery yet uncomfortable phone to hold, but generally speaking, it is a pretty good looking budget smartphone. The hardware, on the other hand, Xiaomi is the only one here to offer an IR blaster, while USB-C is the mainstream, and all of them, no matter if you pick up the higher-end Zenfone, middle-of-the-road 3T, or the more affordable Xiaomi, you've got USB on-the-go supported out of the box. The microphone, however, is a bit disappointing on the 3T.
Now I'm recording on the 3T, noise cancellation's not that great actually, but it's alright.
It is simply not clear enough, especially in busy areas. The Xiaomi is surprisingly clear and crisp, but it's still a little bit flat compared to the iPhone, but for a budget smartphone, amazing. The Asus, not the best out of the three, but is clear enough for daily usage. The 5s Plus also packs the best fingerprint sensor out of the three. It is the only one here to offer stable and responsive fingerprint unlock, no matter when it's super dry or a bit humid. The narrow rectangular design on the Zenfone is a bit less familiar. The sensor itself is also not as responsive as the other two. Sometimes it just missed my attempt. It is not the fastest sensor on Earth as well. The 3T does have one of the fastest sensors, but the accuracy drops when my fingertips are either too dry or a bit wet. So overall, the build quality on the Zenfone is impressive. The 3T is low profile and sleek. The Xiaomi is not necessarily a well-designed phone, but the hardware is better than my expectation. Time for the cameras. The 5s Plus actually the first production phone to feature a Qualcomm clear-sight dual-lens setup. It turns underexposed and noisy images on the left to smooth and bright images on the right. However, clarity and color saturation, also the contrast, are not comparable to premium flagships, in this case the Pixel XL. Speaking of clarity and color saturation, both the OnePlus 3T and the Zenfone 3 Deluxe are up to the premium flagship standard with manual or night mode. Some say it's unfair to compare photos taken with manual mode on some phones, but auto on some others. The idea is, we are comparing what Asus, OnePlus and Xiaomi can offer to the best from Google, in this case Auto HDR+. By the way, in some situations, the 3T even surpasses the Pixel XL in terms of clarity and texture, thanks to the 16 megapixels sensor, but again it's talking manual mode on the 3T versus auto mode on the Pixel. The Zenfone also holds up really well. Brightness and color saturation are on point. Unfortunately, details are not as sharp as the 3T and the Pixel, but shooting with night mode, which is actually a reprogrammed auto mode, is much more user-friendly than keep changing the settings on the 3T from scenes to scenes. So the 3T has the best camera out of the three in manual mode, sharp, vibrant, and clear. The Zenfone's easy to control, but it also gives colorful and smooth images, but sometimes noisy and less detailed. The Xiaomi, not premium flagship experience. The Zenfone, however, is the only one here produces smooth footages even when I was walking. The 3T is backed with optical image stabilization, also electronic stabilization, but it's still shaky and not comparable to the Zenfone. The Xiaomi is a bit disappointing. It does shoot 4K like the other two, but it lacks both optical and electronic stabilization. The exposure is not handled properly as well. Performance and features. They are three of the most features-packed phones I've ever tested. It will take ages to explain every small detail on every single one of them, but I've covered all the features on each of them on the full review. Make sure you will check out the full review if you want to learn more. The feature that all of them share is double tap to wake, while the 3T offers the most flexible navigation settings. Not only can we choose between hardware and software keys, swapping the positions of the back and the recent apps keys, but also adding long press shortcuts. The Xiaomi can do the same, but in terms of the variety of the shortcuts, the 3T is way more customizable. On the other hand, we have always on display borrowed from Samsung on the Zenfone 3 Deluxe, and we are getting 256 gigs of storage on the Zenfone, which is insane. After all the mighty bloatware, we are getting almost 230 gigs of storage to play with. Amazing. Back on the features, the most impressive one here is undoubtedly the Dual Apps, Dual Systems feature on the Xiaomi 5s Plus. We can switch between systems with dedicated unlock methods. Click the full review to learn more. But what amazed me is I can log into 3 WhatsApp, Facebook and Instagram accounts all at once. Performance though, not a big difference. The Snapdragon 821 on all of them deliver top-notch, snappy and responsive experience. According to the standard apps opening speed test, all of them packs into the Snapdragon 2016 flagship category. The key is, the extra 2GB of RAM does matter. All 3 6GB RAM monster here switch between apps buttery smooth. If you are used to the iPhone style of smoothness, you will find the same thing here, no matter which one you have picked at the end. Just look at the Pixel. Those milliseconds delay are the norm for phones with 4GB of RAM. Gaming experience also flawless. The best of the best mobile GPU, the Adreno 530 driving a 1080p screen, you can expect the best graphics processing power on any smartphones. So, all of them are features packed with blazing fast, top-notch performance. You won't be disappointed for picking up either of them. Multimedia Experience. The two more reasonably priced options boast AMOLED technology, while the Zenfone 3 Deluxe offers a slightly more advanced Super AMOLED display. Both the Zenfone and the 3T gives punchy colors, deep black, breathtaking contrast ratio, and great viewing angles. The white balance out of the box is pleasing to the eyes, 1080p is enough for me as well, but considering the Zenfone is actually closer to the premium flagship price tag, it is kind of a shame for lacking a Quad HD display. The IPS display on the Xiaomi in the meantime is bright, vibrant and well calibrated, but the viewing angle is not the best. Pure deep black is also impossible on an LCD backlit display. The speakers though, all of them packs a single down-firing speaker, but they are really loud and surprisingly crisp for what they are. 3.5mm headphone output, however, the 3T is the absolute best. It is even comparable to phones including the HTC 10 and much better than mainstream flagships including the Pixel and the S7 without a dedicated DAC chip. The Zenfone drives my Xperia A3 good enough, but is arguably too warm and bassy. High frequencies are not presented front enough. The Xiaomi, even with the highest volume, it wasn't able to handle my Xperia A3. Casual music listening or video watching with a casual pair of earphones would be fine. Last but certainly not least, the battery life. The Zenfone 3 Deluxe packs a 3000 mAh battery, which is great, but also the smallest among the three. It is also interesting to see the Snapdragon 820 variant gives much longer battery life than the Snapdragon 821 based here. The other two are truly amazing. But at the end of the day, we are getting Quick Charge 3.0 on all three of them, so battery life would not be a problem at all. You won't be disappointed. The 3T is a really promising all-round performer, with a low-profile, sleek design, an absolutely amazing camera with the help of manual controls, also a brilliant display and premium flagship audio quality. The Zenfone 3 Deluxe, the most delicate, well-built, antenna-less phone, with extraordinary video stabilization technology and a gorgeous display. The speaker, audio quality, and the battery life are all great. The Xiaomi would be an affordable alternative, but you are still getting the best and smoothest Android experience. Build quality, the camera, and the audio quality are some of the trade-offs. So which is the best pick for your money?